Hey everyone, in the truck today, we're gonna go look at another crew cab. This one's a 67. I like 67s. It has some other special features about it I'm gonna tell you about here in a bit. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Like I said, we're gonna go look at a crew cab today. Hopefully I get to bring it home. But first I wanted to mention the truck I just sold on Bring a Trailer, my 1972 F100. It sold on Bring a Trailer. It brought $27,000, which I thought was pretty nice for that truck. It was very original, very clean truck. And the reason I'm telling you this is it's going to Switzerland. I thought that was awful neat. It's going across the ocean to Switzerland to live its life there. There's a collector there. He has a bunch of Ford trucks, and he's gonna use this one to drive around when the weather's nice. So that is neat. I want to give you a little update on that truck and where it's going. So I just yesterday I got it on a transporter. It's going down to Texas to the exporter, and then it's going to be put on a shipping container and a ship and go across the ocean. But anyway, today we're going to go look at this crew cab. Like I said in the intro, it's a 67. I'm a big fan of 67s. That's just my favorite year. And this is going to be the first 67 bump side I've even 67 crew cab bump side I've even been able to look at. So we're gonna go take a look at it today. And there's also a neat feature about it. Like I said, it's I believe it is a forestry service truck. This truck, it has the DSO code on the warranty tag is 83, which comes back as a government order. And it also, I thought I saw a hint of some green. It's no longer green now, it's yellow, unfortunately. But anyway, we'll see if I get it bought and get it on the trailer. And as always, we'll dig into it a lot more when we get back to the shop. So see you guys then. Well guys, we ended up making a deal for it. It's back there on the trailer. Turned out to be a pretty decent truck. It has a pretty poor quality paint job on it with a lot of Bondo in it. I brought my paint meter, and I'll probably show you those readings when I'm at the shop, kind of what I found and how I use that paint meter. It has a lot of Bondo in it, is what I'm trying to say. But there is no rust. I tried to find rust. I didn't find any rust, so that's always good, especially on a crew cab purchase. I have yet to purchase a rust-free crew cab, but I guess now I have that under my belt as well as a 67. So pretty neat to have a 67 crew cab, I think, just because I like the 67s, and to have a rust-free one. This one actually came from California. I think Northern California. I'm going to try to say the name. I'm going to look up the name and tell you guys later in the video. It starts with an E. It's a Hispanic name. He told me what it was. I can't remember. But I'll look that up and let you guys know. It's Northern California, a little bitty tiny town. Like I said before, I think it's a forestry service truck. I did a little bit of digging on it. I didn't find any more proof from that. He did say it was green before he painted it yellow. It is unfortunately yellow. I'm not the biggest fan of yellow. But he said it was green. I asked about the gray roof because oddly enough, it does have a gray, the roof is yellow, but the gray around the windows is painted exactly how they did the forestry service trucks. I'll show you what I'm talking about there when we get to show you the truck a little bit. But I didn't find anything of the green color in the truck, so I'm sure if I do some more digging, I'll find it. But everything's been painted on the truck, so I might have to try to scuff away some paint or something. But I'm like 85% sure it was a forestry service truck at this point, which is kind of cool. Not sure what I'm going to do with this one yet, but anyway, guys, I'll might as well do all the talking whenever you guys see the truck. So I'll find a spot to pull off, and I'll give you guys a sneak peek of the truck before we get back to the shop. And then once you get back to the shop, we'll do a full deep dive like we normally do. So see you guys when I find a place to stop. Well, here it is, guys. 67 crew cab. It does have a 67 grill on it, and the grill is actually in really nice shape. The headlight buckets got little dings on them, but here's the truck. Here I was talking about the gray roof is painted just like they did the forestry service truck, so that's another indication that I'm thinking maybe that's what it was. but unfortunately there's quite a bit of Bondo. I don't know if you can see how the bump's not exactly straight there. The cab bushings have collapsed right here, so this wasn't straight either. I noticed that. I have had one where the back of the cab was all busted up, but I think this one was just the cab bushings. It didn't come with the style side bed on here. He said that whenever he got it, it didn't have a bed on it, so he said he took a long time to find a bed, a good short bed to put on it, which I know those things are tough to find because I've tried to find some from time to time. You know, it has the cracking right there in the seam. But the best part about this truck is there's no rust. No rust here in the B-pillar or in the rockers. And up under here, there's a hole in it right there I missed, but at least it's not a rust hole. The floor is in awful good shape. The cab mounts are perfect on it. Back in here, the inner rockers are all in good shape. Even back here, the cab corners are all in good shape. So that's nice. These 67 one-year-only crew cab doors are going to be super rare, and there's no rust in here that I could find. There is a little spot right there, but it doesn't go all the way through. Even the core support up here is rust-free, although they painted it yellow. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of the yellow, but it's really bright over here in the sun. Same story over here, no rust at all. Even the fenders are rust-free in there. The floor, I pulled the carpet up there. The interior is kind of a little rough, but I think it will clean up all right. You know, it needs a lot of work on the interior, unfortunately, but rust-free crew cab, you take what you can get, I guess. Same thing with this door back in here. All this is just nice and perfect, so that's nice to see. But anyway, guys, we're gonna get this thing back to the shop. I'm gonna do a lot more digging on it and see if I can find any more information about the previous history on this truck for you guys. So see you guys back at the shop. Well, guys, made it back to the shop. Done a little bit of poking around on it, not much, but just a little bit, and thought I would share with you what I found so far. But I wanted to give you kind of a rundown of the condition of the truck. From afar it looks good, but I think it's far from good, unfortunately. In the paintwork here seems to be a pretty quick, down and dirty, cheap paint job. A lot of evidence of Bondo and lack of prep work. See things like that just sprayed over old flaky paint right there, and there's some leftover Bondo residue there that wasn't sanded smooth on the bump, and things like that. And you look down the side of it, it gets kind of wavy, and didn't smooth out a lot of the areas where they applied Bondo. And unfortunately there's some thick Bondo places. I think where the mirrors were, there was I don't know what kind of mirrors it had on it, but right here in this area there's a lot of Bondo. They might have Bondoed over mirror holes, so that's something we got to deal with, unfortunately. But overall I think it's you know, for a crew cab, it is in really nice shape. If it was a regular cab truck, I probably wouldn't have even brought it home just because it has so many issues to deal with. I'm very picky on a regular cab truck, but a crew cab, you get to be a little more lenient on a lot of this stuff because, for one, it's a crew cab, and you know, there's just not many opportunities to bring them home. So this one, what makes this one so desirable, this is actually the most expensive crew cab I've bought so far, is because it's totally rust free. I haven't found any rust issues. Well, I just said that, but there is one spot I found, but it is up here in the core support, and the core support is totally replaceable right there. That's a pretty real common spot, rust out. That's from like it could be from batteries, battery acid and stuff leaking down there. I've had a lot of problems with that on trucks, even rust-free trucks that I've had. But as far as the cab goes, the crew cab part, it is in really nice shape. See the cab mounts there. If I can get you a shot of the floor. Really nice shape, no rust. And in the rockers here, these rockers are all nice and solid. No rust here, no rust there in the B-pillar. And of course the roof, you know, the roofs on the crew cabs are always a problem. This is real solid. There's no headliner, so I was able to come up in here and look up in here and make sure there's no rust. So there is no headliner, but the headliner trim is there, so that is good. And see, it had a lot of I think it maybe had some lights on the roof. We'll talk more about the history on the truck and what I've come up with so far. But on the interior, there's new seat covers, which are nice, but everything else is kind of not very good, unfortunately. Like they painted the gauge bezel here, just kind of painted over it poorly, and missing the 67 radio, but we do have the knobs and everything. But anyway, just needs a lot of work to be up to my standards. But kind of have some ideas of what I want to do with this truck, but we just got it home, so I'll marinate on those ideas for a while. Back in here in the footwells for the rear, these like to rot out, but this is nice and solid, you know, not even any pitting there. So this is a super nice solid truck. The seller told me he bought it out of California, and the title was out of Arizona. I did order a Marti report, so we're going to find out where it was sold new and maybe get some more history on the truck. But right now, that's all I have to go off of. Unfortunately, there are holes right here in the B-pillars for some big old speakers, so that will definitely have to be patched up. And there's a lot of holes in just the floor, like screw holes, bolt holes. I don't know what they had in here, but dang, there's holes all over the floor when you crawl underneath the thing. Has a really nice short bed, which this is worth a lot in itself, the short bed there, because it's rust free. The underside of it is all nice and rust free, the runners and everything, so I love seeing that. It's got a dent side tailgate on it, so that unfortunately isn't right. And even the floor on this thing is all nice and solid. It does have some plates welded on the wheel tubs there and up there in the corners. But overall, it looks like the bolt holes spun for the carriage head bolts. So that's something we got to deal with. But as far as short beds go, this is a really nice shape. Here's another shot of the roof up here. There is some dents, it is a little wavy, but that's pretty common with these crew cabs because they have such a big flat sheet of metal up there. They get kind of wavy and it's hard to get them perfectly straight. Really nice 67 crew cab doors, so that would be a 1 year only crew cab door. So it's nice that they're in really nice shape, and I didn't find any rust in them anywhere. So these are some really nice doors to have, not have to rebuild something that's all rusted out like you normally do with crew cabs. Back in here, you know, the rockers are nice and good shape. Same thing with this footwell. And up under here, you know, I haven't pulled all this carpet up yet, but I haven't found any rust on the underside anyway. Same thing with this. See if I can get, yeah, the floor, there is a little bit of flaky rust here on the floor pan, but I haven't found any through rust. But there's some of those holes I was talking about. There's a big old hole there, screw hole there, and some screw holes there, screw hole there, screw hole there. So lots of little bitty holes you got to fill. I don't know what was going on with this truck and why it had so many holes in it, but is what it is. It does have a T18 transmission there, so T18 4-speed. Under the hood, it originally came with a 306 cylinder, but now it has a V8 FE variety. It appears to be from like a 73 and up dent side truck. It has truck heads on it, D2 TEAA, which is pretty standard truck heads. It's got a 2-barrel intake, so it's probably just a 360, 390 kind of a deal, probably a 360. It doesn't sound that great. It has very old gas in it, but it does run. We drove it on the trailer. I've already done a little bit of tune-up work on it. It had some vacuum leaks and stuff like that, and adjusted the idle. Let's see if we can get it running for you guys. And it smokes a little bit too, so the engine's probably a little tired, but yeah, it's not smoking now. Maybe it just needed to warm up a little bit. Yeah, it's running a lot better than it was whenever I first got it running here. And again, it's running on bad gas, so it can't run that great. In here, the poor paint work continues, unfortunately. You know, overspray on the inner fenders, and just rattle can spray paint in here that's all flaking off. And same thing, just painted over everything on the cowl. There is a tag right here on the cowl, which is kind of neat. It's not the buck tag that I'm used to seeing, which is a big square thing, but it's probably something of that nature, some assembly line thing. I don't think it's the original hood. I'm not sure but it does have the bumper supports for a 67 here, but I don't think it has the 67 hood on it. But anyway, that's not a big deal. The hood is decent. It has a little bit of ding right here, but I haven't found any rust in it. And it also has a ding right here. Looks like somebody hit the emblem or something, and it's kind of pushed in right there. But decent hood. So yeah, and a decent grill. So that's this truck. I have the Marti report on order, and I have a rust service on it because I'm really curious. Because this truck, I know I said earlier I think it's a forestry service truck, but I don't think that is correct. I was going off of the VIN tag here. It has 83 on the DSO code, and that is a government designation. So that means a government entity ordered this, and the previous owner said it was green before he painted it yellow. So I immediately thought forestry service truck. And another thing that hammered that home for me is this portion right here that is gray. They did the forestry service trucks like this, and all the way to the front windshield, all the way back here. You know how a regular two-tone truck, this right up here is all different color. On the forestry service trucks, they did the window frames and everything on the doors gray as well on the roof. So I thought, well, maybe they were trying to replicate what it was before. So that kind of, I thought, well, for sure it's a forestry service truck, which I thought was pretty neat because I like forestry service stuff. But then doing some more digging, and right here you can see the green that the seller was talking about. It's kind of like a sparkly, like bass boat kind of a green. So that is definitely not forestry service. And then I got to digging some more, and if you look up under here, the original color was gray. You see that? That was the original color. I think the whole truck was that color. I found it in some of their spots back up under the cab here where they didn't paint. Way up under there I found some of the gray on the outside. So it is a gray original color, which we don't have the color code because it was special order paint, so it would be right there. So we don't have that. But whenever I saw it was originally gray and a government DSO, then I immediately thought navy, because there was some navy trucks and they were battleship gray. But unfortunately I don't have any proof for that. There should have been a tag on the glove box, I think, but that glove box has been chromed, so I don't know if it's the original glove box lid or not. But anyway, another thought was Air Force, but the Air Force trucks were blue. They're kind of a dark blue. The Navy trucks were battleship gray. So maybe it's a Navy truck. The Marti report will have the selling dealer, and maybe that will give us some hints as to where it was located, if it's by a naval yard. But and it also had, you know, these holes up here. I thought maybe it had lights on it. And there's some in the back, you know, like a security truck at a naval yard or something of that nature. So anyway, guys, that's kind of the rundown of this truck right now. We're gonna wait and get that Marti report, and then I'll jump back in here and see what's on it. Well, guys, I have the Marti report here pulled up on my phone, and some interesting things about it. First off, I want to say, you know, we're talking about the Marti report and getting the seller dealer information. What I was hoping that they would have the dealer that sold the truck new, and it would be like a location, like a state where there's a naval yard or something, or maybe an Air Force base or something that I would be able to say, hey, that kind of leads me to believe that this truck was that. But unfortunately, since this was a government DSO code, the selling dealer is listed as District of Columbia Government. Can you read that? And it has Washington, D.C. So that is listed as the selling dealer. And if I Google that address, 300 Indiana Avenue, Northwest, it becomes D.C. Metro Police Station. So that's kind of interesting. It was probably, you know, it probably wasn't a DC Metro police truck. I'm guessing that address was kind of like an office area, and kind of, you know, where kind of general functions of the government was happening, and that's where they ordered the truck from, and that's where the dealership was set up. So somehow the federal government had a Ford dealership, I guess, or something of that nature, you know, kind of had an agreement with Ford. So that's how that DSO, government DSO and everything came about on the Marti report. So unfortunately we didn't get any hints on where this truck was originally used or anything like that. But on the option list, it was a flare side truck, so it had the flare side bed instead of the style side bed, which I knew that because the seller said he had to search high and low to find a good bed for this thing, which, you know, a good short bed is hard to find. So that checks out. Left hand only armrest, so that checks out here. We have the holes for the left hand armrest, and no holes on the right hand side for the armrest over there. So sorry about your passenger. Let's see, spare tires, 750 16 tires, heavy duty self-adjusting brakes, which it does have drum brakes up front, and I don't think that was an option in 67. I think 68 was the first year for drum brakes, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So on two F250s, F100s are different, but so I think those had to be added because it says heavy duty self-adjusting brakes. It would have said disc brakes there if it was a disc brake truck, but I don't think that was an option on 67s. Anyway, extra cooling radiator, deluxe fresh air heater, which the deluxe heater, if you remember on my what makes a 67 special video a while back, that is these three knobs right here is the deluxe heater. The economy heater would be right here on this knob, and it'll be a one knob heater, and these would be blank. So anyway, that's some 67 trivia for you. What else we got here? Cigar lighter. Yep, that's there. Right hand chrome mirror. So there's a right hand mirror over there. It's not there anymore. Let's see, heavy duty battery, closed crankcase emission system. I don't know what that exactly entails, but I'm guessing it is a like the PCV system. I didn't know that was an option on 67, but that's kind of interesting to see that there. Painted rear bumper, rear reflectors. I thought that was another interesting thing. I don't know what the rear reflectors were on a flare side bed, but I thought that was interesting. Too bad we don't have that original bed to see what that is. And heavy duty rear springs. So you know that's the options list on this truck. The interior trim was a beige vinyl bench seat, so it had beige on the interior trim, and it was special paint. And then unfortunately, Marti does not have good statistics for 67 and 68 crew cabs, so he does not include the crew cab information here on the statistics. But there is some information out there that's like 700 F250 crew cabs were made. We think that's a little bit low. We think there's some that didn't make it onto that list, so it could be, you know, 700, 800, 900, but it's still very, very low compared to all the other years. In 72, I know F250s, they made like 2,500 F250s and something like 1,500 F350s. So they made a lot more in the later years. 67, they made the least amount of crew cabs. So that's another reason why I was really excited to get the 67, just because I know how rare they are. And to have an opportunity to buy this 67 that's as rust-free as this is, you know, you just can't pass that up. So I had to bring it home. Interesting enough, I posted information on this on one of the crew cab pages on the Facebook, and somebody posted their Marti report for a forestry service truck, a 67 forestry service truck, and the option list here was almost exactly the same. There's a couple things that were just slightly different, but it was almost exactly the same on the options list. And interesting enough, the order date of 5/3/67 was exact same date that their truck was ordered, but the special order number, which this one is 310 or 0310, theirs was 0315, which since this truck was gray, I bet the difference is the paint color. You know, theirs were forestry service green, where this one was gray, so it's probably a different special order number. But I just thought it was interesting that all the options were almost identical. So the government was ordering identical trucks, even through the different agencies throughout the government. But that's the Marti report on this truck. That's what I got on it. I have a little bit of I did a little bit more digging here. I cut the house carpet here, and wanted to inspect the floor and see how just nice and clean that floor is. Nice original paint there, no pitting under here, even though there are all these holes. I don't know why there's all these holes in the floor of this thing, but there's even a big one right there. I don't know what that was for either, but I'll have to get all those filled up. At least those small ones are easy to do. And here's another shot of this footwell here. You know, this is just super nice in here. So anyway, and all the rockers are just perfect. And underneath, I went looking at this thing, I couldn't find any rust. Even the back of the cab corners are nice. See how nice and clean those rockers are. And up under here, those supports there, they like to rot out. All that's just really nice. You know, it has surface rust on it, but man, it's so clean. And deep, and in here in the rocker, this channel right here likes to rot out a lot. See this added piece they welded in here for the crew cab where they spliced the two cabs together? Those for sure like to rot out. And this B pillar right here likes to rot out a lot. So all this stuff just adds up to being a really nice truck. And This 67 being an early truck, I thought it was interesting. I did have a 68 cab, if you remember the blue truck that was titled as a 70, I think, but the cab was actually a 68. I ended up selling that truck and sending it down the road, but I thought it was very interesting, that early cab, how nice and clean they do this part right here, where they had this little bitty triangle piece right here to make the cab work out, because this is like an added piece, and this is like the back half of a regular cab truck they splice together, and they have to add in this little triangle piece, and how nice and clean that's added together. Well, over here I have my 72 crew cab special out of the shop here, and I just wanted to show you, I had this truck out and I was looking at it, and man, how much they changed. So this is 1972 crew cab here, and see how they just like slapped that piece on there, didn't even fit it all the way up in there. And we've even had some where they're crooked, they're not even straight, and they just kind of slapped them up there and spot welded them in and burger welded all this. It's like they got kind of tired of building them, I guess, but they're just not, the fit and finish of the interior is just not the same on the later model trucks from my experience. So I just thought that was, you know, this 67 the first year, I think this one was even done nicer than that 68 I had. I think they just took their time more while they were making fewer of them, so they had a little bit better time. See how nice and clean those welds are, and how nice that is fitted up. So that's just completely different. But anyway, guys, I wanted to give you kind of my initial thoughts on this truck and what I think I'm going to do with it. First off, I think we're gonna do a build on this one. I think it's too nice not to. It's two-wheel drive, and in 67 they didn't ever make any high boys that anybody knows of. If they did, it was very, very few, because no one's ever found officially a 67 high boy crew cab. So I had the thought of, maybe I have a 67 high boy up there. If you can see that up there, that's a 67 high boy. I thought initially of maybe stretching that 67 frame and putting it under this, and we'd have a 67 frame on a 67 truck, but then it wouldn't be a crew cab VIN on the high boy. And I really like 67 high boys, and then I'm not building that 67 high boy, which I'm really looking forward to building. So then I thought, well, I didn't really want to do that, because for one, they didn't really make high boy 67 crew cabs that we know of. Then I had another thought. I've been wanting to do another ultimate high boy truck like I did on my 67 here. This F100 originally truck, we put it on a 73 high boy chassis, and did a whole bunch of extra work to it, like 3-link and keen coilovers and all that extra stuff. There's a big build series I have on that in the very beginning of my channel, if you want to go back and check that out. So I thought about maybe doing something with this truck, except using the two-wheel drive frame. So I would maintain the original frame, so the VIN matches the frame and cab and everything, all that stays nice and how it should be. But we'll be doing a 3-link four-wheel drive setup on it, so we'll have link arms and keen coilovers on the top, and Dana 60 front axle. We'll obviously lift the rear end a little bit, and powertrain wise, I haven't made up my mind. I was thinking maybe a Godzilla 7.3 with a 6R 140 transmission, but then I thought, well, it's kind of hard to justify the cost of that on this, because I would plan on selling this one. So it's kind of hard to justify the cost. Your cost-benefit ratio doesn't really pan out. But if you remember on this truck, we did the, it has a 428 with a 6R80 and MP205 transfer case on it. And I really like this setup. It turned out really nice, I thought. There's the 205, and it's married to the modern Ford F-150 transmission, the 6R80. So it's electronically controlled, 6-speed, dual overdrive, locking converter, the whole 9 yards. Married to the old school FE engine. And here's the 3-link. Sorry, it's all dirty. I drive this thing every day. But keen coilovers, 3-link, Dana 60. So I thought, you know, I loved building this truck, and that's what got this whole thing started, because I built this truck, and there's so many people that wanted to buy this thing. It's like, I should really start building these things, and because I enjoy it so much. So that's kind of what started this whole thing. So why not continue that with this truck and build another one? So right now, what I'm kind of thinking of is maybe a 390 with fuel injection, you know, kind of hot rodded a little bit. 6 rarity Marti transfer case. Build the 3-link front suspension and everything up. King coilovers, really nice suspension, and kind of resto mod this thing and make it into like a second crew cab ultimate highboy truck over there. Tell me what you guys think about that, and let me know in the comments below, and we'll see if we get anything done on this truck. But anyway, guys, I think that's all for this episode. Go ahead and check out our parts supplier, Complete Performance. I'll have a link to them in the description below. They supply all the parts for everything I build here in the shop, so go check them out. Support the people that support this channel. Give us a thumbs up if you like this episode and like this truck. Subscribe if you want to see this thing built, and see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys.